Do you think you have someone on the roster right now, or have you really had a chance to figure that out?
Well, I really haven't had a chance to look at that. I was able to watch just bits and pieces of a few games in the last couple of weeks. I think there's some potential, but the biggest thing I could say is we're fixing to embrace an entire culture change of how we do things, how we practice, how we walk, how we talk, how we address things, and it's going to start from the ground floor and work its way up.
You lead one of the 5 power conferences. How does that fit into this in your brain?
Well,
going forward,
I think as you look at the conference that we're in right now, I think this conference is full of incredible turnaround programs. When you look at what Memphis has done just 3 short years ago, you look at where UCF was 10 years ago. I think this is a conference that you can win, and you can win big. And we've just got to start winning, and then let everything else take care of itself. And once you start winning and you generate some excitement, we know it's here. We've seen it here. I saw it as a kid when I was growing up, coming to games here. And then everything else takes care of itself. So it's going to be a process, but it's going to be a great challenge that a lot of people are looking forward to.
End zone at Texas Stadium? You was in the end zone at Texas?
I was, yeah. I remember many a times riding a yellow school bus up, and those FCA games, they'd give away tickets, and we'd come up there and sit up in the end zone at Texas Stadium and just watch watch these guys every year. That was a highlight.
What do you think is the potential of this program? Is it top 25? Is it top 10?
Well, I think there's definitely a top 25 program without a doubt. And I think once you establish that, then you start setting your standards to be one of the best in the country. I'm not going to sell ourselves short. I think we can be one of the best, if not the best, program in all of college football. But it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work. And a lot of people, again, pulling in the same direction to get it done. And so, we're going to take steps, and let's show some improvement. Let's see if we can't show some improvement and get this team back into a bowl where June had them in 4 of 6 years, and then we'll take the next step moving forward.
You're good friends with Gus Malzahn. Did you ask any advice from him before you took your first coaching job?
Yeah, absolutely. Gus and I talk pretty much, if not every other day, pretty close to it. And I bounced a lot of ideas and a lot of his thoughts from this program off of Gus, and everything just kept coming back to this is the right fit. And it's all about timing, and it's all about fit. And had this university been in another area of the country that maybe I don't have the ties and the allegiance to the high school coaches, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. But because of my ties and recruiting, and it's right in my wheelhouse, and it's a great fit. It's not a good fit; it's a great fit.
A lot of people have asked me to ask, what's with the Red Bull and what's with #Tempo?
Well, like I shared earlier, I'm a big Red Bull fan and love Red Bull. And then the #Tempo, that's just that's what we operate at. We're going to operate at a fast pace. We're not a hurry up no huddle offense. We're a hurry up no huddle football team and a football program. And it's going to start with our secretaries. It's going to resonate through our maintenance department. I mean, it's anyone that touches those football players and in part of that program, they're going to understand what tempo is all about.
When you instilled your system at Clemson or even at Tulsa, you've got this hurry up no huddle. Does it take a while to instill that and get the team acclimated, or do you do that from day one? It's
day one. It'll be when I meet back with the players again, whether it's next week or when they come back from the holidays. It'll be that day. They understand a little bit. We talked just briefly this morning about it, but no, it'll start that day. And again, I just shared with them they're about to experience something they've never experienced.
You talked about going out and reestablishing your relationships with a lot of the high school coaches. Have any of them already reached out to you to sort of sell you on players? I've got a linebacker here, a receiver there.
I do. I've actually got, I don't know how many texts I got now, but I had coming into this, I had 255 text messages from a lot of my peers in this state that have offered their advice and obviously want to be a part of this and want to help in this turnaround. And again, there's some incredible coaches in this state. I firmly believe that high school coaches, not just in the state of Texas, but all across the country, that's some of your best coaches around. And all you need to look is just look in college football ranks right now and look at some of the top programs and some of the high school coaches are doing it, from Ole Miss to down at with Art at Baylor and Gus at Auburn. I mean, there's some unbelievable coaches that came through the high school ranks, and the biggest thing I can say is high school coaches, they get it. They have to deal with a lot of broad spectrum of things, from the bus department to the maintenance departments to the faculty to, and you get it, you understand that. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And fortunately, I've been able to recruit the state of Texas, being in Clemson the last 4 years, and I come back here twice a year and recruiting and still keeping those contacts, and with D.W. Rutledge and Joe Martin at the High School Coaches Association, and being able to keep those. So it's I just look forward to get back out and getting over and seeing some guys over and seeing Joey McGuire and Claude Mathis and Tom Westerberg, all those guys, and there's so many of them out there. Randy Allen, which was here today, but there's Henry Carter down at Lake Travis. So I think the future is extremely bright, and I'm really excited.
You said during your press conference that you spoke with Garrett Gilbert. What did he tell you about being here?
Well, he told me, obviously talked about his experience here, and unfortunately he got injured last year, and was well on track, I felt, to go to another bowl game prior to his injury, and just share with me that there are some passionate people here, and don't let anyone tell you different, because there are, and football is important, but you got to get them out, and you got to get our fans and our student body involved, and to let them know that, hey, we're building this together. It's not just the football program, it's our entire student body. And that was one of the things Garrett shared with us, or with me, and again, Garrett's one of my all-time favorites.
How many coaches were there between you and Art at Stephenville? You didn't.
One.
Just one.
Yeah. They kept Mike there, and then I think Mike stayed for 3 years, and Mike Copeland, and then I followed right after that. Mike didn't want to. When Art left, Mike didn't want the staff to be disassembled, so he was going to retire, and they talked him into not retiring, and he stayed 3 years, and then they brought me in.
And back to that Power 5 question, I guess some people would ask, with what you did at Clemson, your pedigree with quarterbacks, why not wait for a Power 5 job? I mean, there's going to be probably a bunch that open. You kind of addressed it earlier by saying it's the fit, but I guess some people would ask, why not wait?
I think it's, one of the things that I want to make really clear is I'm not going to gauge whether or not I'm successful in this business on whether or not I'm a head coach. Okay, I had several opportunities over the last 3 years to become a head coach at a place, whether that was a Power 5 conference or whether it was another place. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time for my family. My daughter was still in high school, and when this opportunity came up into play, it turned into it's the right fit. So it's not so much about that. All that stuff that's for everybody else to talk about. And hey, it's can you come in here and can we get this thing done? And winning's winning. Football's football. And but I know this. I know the resources are here, and I know there's a lot of people that want it. And it's my job to get them all together, and let's do it together.
One of those places that you talked about in the past was Texas Tech. I guess there was a pretty close decision there. Was that your decision or their decision?
No, it was their decision. Yeah, it was their decision. They obviously they wanted to go with a former player, and which you have to respect that.
When you were first approached by SMU, or during the conversations with SMU, would you characterize those discussions more as you selling SMU on the idea that you're the right candidate, or them selling you on the opportunity to take this job?
Well, I think when we started talking, I was fortunate enough that Coach Sweeney allowed that to happen on one of our down weeks. It was more of a they were interviewing me as just as I was interviewing them. I think it was a two-way street.
Anything else, guys?
Just one more, Coach. How do you plan on getting students engaged with the team?
Well, I think you got to get out. I think they got to see you involved. I think you got to go out and you got to do it one handshake at a time, so to speak. And you got to see me out and see me visible. And I think that's so critical to not just them, but our faculty as well.
Larry Brown takes walks through campus. Are you going to start doing that? Taking runs?
Well, I jog. I try to jog, and so I'll be jogging through campus.
How about taking a paddy wagon to the boulevard on Saturdays and just making them all pile in there? And go
Well,
over
we
the
may do that
stadium?
too. I mean, who knows? But whatever it takes.
When's the last time you lost a game as a head coach in Texas? I know you won your last 32.
Oh my goodness, I don't know that. I'm trying to think.
No grand proclamations that winning streak will continue.
It was probably Everman beat me. I think Everman beat me when I was in Stephenville. I think that's what it was. I really